Hi, everybody. This is Marlene with Miami Ghost Chronicles Stories of the Supernatural. And I hope you enjoy this new show, whether you're viewing it on the internet or listening to a podcast version of the episode. I do want to thank you for being part of my audience. You can also find links to videos or podcasts on miamighostchronicles.com, as well as where you can submit your story about any eerie experiences you've had, which I would love to hear about. Just go to the Submit Your Story tab. Please subscribe to our channel so that you receive notification of when we release a new show. And find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This is where I usually live stream and where I give you a behind the scenes look at locations where new episodes are being filmed at. I also tell you about all the interesting guests that will be appearing soon on Stories of the Supernatural. I hope you enjoy the show, and I think you are all wonderful. Just in case you're one of those people who doesn't know anything about this notorious New Jersey road called Clinton Road, which, by the way, is right next to the Pine Barrens. You've heard of it, the Jersey Devil, but let me go ahead and fill you in about what is the supposed hauntings or eerie and freak accidents that have taken place there. Now, when you talk to most people about North Jersey, they're going to tell you that the most haunted location is Clinton Road. This road has got so many tales, legends, and myths that it's hard to keep track of them. But where you're heading up or down Route 23 into West Milford, you're going to see the road signs for this road. Now you're going to go through this road, and it's got several twists and turns with forest on either side. Now during the daytime, this road is gorgeous. Okay, and a lot of locals use the forest and the lakes nearby for hiking, swimming, fishing. But once night falls and that darkness starts to creep in, now every tree, every shadow, doesn't take much of the imagination to make you feel that you might just not be alone out there. Now, I'm going to go over some of the scariest legends and urban myths that are associated with Clinton Road. One of them is throw a penny. Now, as legend has it, years ago, there was once a boy who enjoyed riding his bike up and down Clinton Road because of the hills and the curves and, all the nice views. Now, at that time, this road was very seldomly traveled because of its position up north. Now, this boy, he would go ahead and bring along his dog, which was a large Doberman. And, of course, as you know, Dobermans, they're mostly black coat, very little tan. Now, the two, the boy and the dog, they would make these stops as they're going down the road. They would jump in the lake, play around until one day. And that's the day that disaster struck. Now, he's traveling on the road with his companion. He makes a stop at a nearby bridge. Okay, by the way, this is not where Dead Man's Curve is at. Now, along comes a large black truck heading west towards Route 23, reaches the bridge where the boy is standing. Now, this driver, who had been drinking, starts to drift, hits the boy, causes him to fall from his bike, and he goes into the water where he hits his head on the rocks. Now the driver, he panics because not only is he drunk, he just killed somebody. So he just drives away and leaves this young boy to drown because, of course, he's unconscious after hitting his head on the rocks. Okay, now the dog, who was very close to the boy, drags his dead body from the water and just stands over the remains of the kid. Now, by the time the police find him, This dog, who's become aggressive because he's probably very fearful, doesn't let anybody near the corpse of this kid. And the police have no choice, but they end up killing the dog. They shoot it. Now, the driver of the black vehicle never found, and the boy's never truly identified. Now, paranormal activity attached to this is supposed to occur around the bridge where this boy was hit. And it says that this boy, every once in a while, is going to manifest if you throw a coin into the stream from the bridge. Now, it's also been said that when you throw the coin in, the boy's going to throw it back at you. Wow. Next one's called the Hellhound of Clinton Road. Now, this has to do with that dog, that Doberman, that was shot because he wouldn't let anybody get next to the boy's body. Okay, now there have been numerous sightings of a large black beast dog with red eyes that has the ability to run as fast as most cars. Now, this Hellhound, which is what he's being called now, has been known to chase cars or ram the sides and in the blink of an eye just disappear, vanish, poof, into thin air. Now, Hellhounds are known to be used to guard the entrance to the world of the dead, such as graveyards, burial grounds, or they also undertake other duties related to the afterlife or supernatural. Most people believe that because of this, seeing a hellhound or hearing it howl could be an omen of ill fortune, or even worse, a cause for death. And next one is the ghost truck. Now, you're traveling down the road and so far you haven't seen anything that really scares you. Then without warning, all of a sudden, these bright headlights appear in your rear view mirror. It like almost hurts your eyes to look into the mirror. And all of a sudden somebody driving a car is coming up close, speeding, trying to run you off the road. Now here you are putting your foot down on the accelerator, you're racing through the curves at superhuman speed, and your heart's thumping. It's almost ready to come out of your chest. Then without warning, it's gone. Now this is what hundreds and hundreds of people have claimed they've experienced when they go down Clinton Road. Now what the truck is, where it comes from, nobody knows. Some have even thought, is this the truck or the person that hit and killed that boy before he went into the bridge? Makes you wonder. Next one is the Iceman. Now back on May 14th, 1983, there's a bicyclist and he's traveling down the road, and now he comes across this really horrible sight of a human body, which later on the remains are identified as belonging to Daniel Deppner. Now, this bicyclist, he runs across this body, this corpse in the woods, and the turkey vultures are already eating this guy. Now, after the autopsy was performed, they find ice crystals inside the body. Now, what becomes evident is that this body had been frozen to hide the true date and the cause of his death. After further investigation, it's found out that this man, Daniel, was killed by none other than the very famous serial killer Richard Kuklinski, the Iceman, who served out the last few years of his life behind bars. But Kuklinski was known for having killed multiple victims, and many people claim that not all of them have ever been identified. Now, as I said before, Kuklinski passed away in 2006, and he admitted during the interviews when he was behind bars that he would freeze and dump these bodies exactly to mislead as to the time of death. Now it makes you wonder how many of these potential unburied bodies could be lying in the woods. Well, at this point, how many remains or skeletal remains, because that's probably all that would be left. Next is the castle. Now there are multiple biking trails through these woods, and they lead to what's known as Cross Castle. Now this was built about 100 years ago. Right now there's no point of origin as to why it was built, but at this point it's just decaying, of course, with time, the elements. Now the building is littered with signs and what appears to be proof of some type of rituals or ceremonies. Okay, some of them are believed to be satanic or involve witchcraft, and others say that the grounds belong to a family who are not only cannibals but albinos. And of course, their favorite victims are trespassers. I guess it would be hard to miss a family of albinos out there. Now, Clinton Road has been called the most terrifying road in the United States. Okay, and it's been featured on a lot of shows because there's just so many legends and creatures and so many unexplainable things that have happened out there that at this point, even though a lot of things have been found and identified, apparently not everything is truly known, because every once in a while something new just pops up. And of course there's that very, very stretch which is called a dead man's curve. And why do you think any road would get a name like Dead Man's Curve? Okay, and apparently, like I said, everybody, okay, who doesn't know the other person all retell the same exact story. Okay, and of course, one of the most famous is that young boy. Now he's supposed, like I said, he's supposed to hang out under the bridge. All right, and as you know, if you throw that coin down to him, you're probably going to see some other coins down there. Now, it makes you wonder, do you really want him to throw that coin back at you? Now, just in case, there's a second bridge that's located several miles to the south of Dead Man's Curve. Okay? And this is just above an old stone iron furnace that used to be there at the beginning of the 1800s. And this bridge goes through or over a waterfall. Alright? And that's got its own apparitions that haunt that location. So, when you go through Clinton Road, whatever you do, just make sure that's in the daytime.